It's no secret on this channel that I'm a big fan of the DJI Pocket 3, as I've made quite a few videos about it. I've now been using it for about 6 months to film content for this channel. Basically, if I'm not in my studio filming with my Fujifilm, then I am outside filming with the Pocket 3. So after 6 months of very regular usage, I have some updates in terms of the settings and the accessories that I'm finding to be the most helpful. But more importantly, I have 6 different ways that I'm using the Pocket 3 to film my content, and I thought I'd share them with you in this video. So the first way that I use the Pocket 3 to film content is to do these talking head videos. They're usually static shots, so I'm just sitting, looking directly at the camera. Usually it's propped up on a table like it is right now on the mini tripod, or sometimes I like to use my tall tripod. It's actually a light stand, and that's how I'm filming the behind the scenes right now on my phone. But this is probably my most common usage of the Pocket 3 right now. When I'm shooting these talking head videos, I keep my settings pretty basic. I just shoot in 4K 30 frames per second. And the one thing though that I have changed is my color profile. So I used to shoot in normal color. I try to do that whenever it's rather cloudy outside. I do live in Seattle, so we don't usually have really contrasty light. That is one benefit. I can just go out, I don't have to worry about where exactly I'm shooting. But now that summer is rolling around and we do have more sunlight coming out because it does not always rain in Seattle, I am finding that shooting in normal color is resulting in a lot of color fringing or chromatic aberration. It's also harder for me to preserve the highlights, and just the overall balance of the image in terms of the brightness has become a challenge now that it's brighter outside. So if it is sunny and bright out, I now shoot in D-Log-M. And I've been doing that more and more, getting more comfortable with the color grading process of D-Log-M, because I do have to now color grade it on top of edit the whole video together. So that is probably the biggest change that I've made in terms of my settings. The second way that I use the Pocket 2 is to get my wide, kind of full body shots whenever I need to show off something like a product, like a bag, or whenever I just want to film myself walking through a scene. One change that I have made though is that I don't really use that wide angle filter that comes with the Pocket 3 Creator Combo. I'm finding that it's just a little too wide and there's a little too much distortion on the sides, and it takes too much time to, pop it on top of the camera. I know it just takes a few seconds, but still, it's just not something that I use very often. I'm finding that the stock Pocket 3 lens is plenty wide for the kind of shots that I want to take, and there's no distortion in them. I'm also loving the DJI Mic 2. I do have the full kit with the receiver, but if I'm honest, I don't use it that often because I'm mostly filming with the Pocket 3. And when I'm doing that, I can connect the transmitter wirelessly through Bluetooth, and it's just so quick and easy, very reliable. I have not had any sound issues filming with this microphone so far. There are even times when I want to film with the Rode Wireless Pro because the Rode does have slightly better sound quality, but for the convenience of using the Pocket or the Mic 2 with the Pocket 3, it's just become my default microphone. And as a bonus, I can also use it to remote control the camera. So when the camera is planted on a tripod and I'm doing those wide full body shots, using this mic as a remote has come in so clutch. The third way that I use the Pocket 3 is doing what I'm doing right now, which is doing these walking and talking shots. I usually walk pretty slow, pretty steady. I'm not doing action with this camera because that's not what it's meant to do. But when I am doing the walking, talking shots, I have the camera on an extendable tripod. This is my favorite PGY Tech tripod that is super small, compact, easy to travel with, and it extends out really nicely. So I can have my arm just out in front of me. I don't have to stretch it out really far unless I want to. And yet this camera is still a pretty respectable distance away, so it looks natural. When I am shooting this way, I use the tilt lock mode to make sure that my horizon is level. The fourth way that I use the Pocket 3 to film my content is to do my flat lay or top-down shots, which I do a lot for my product videos. The nice thing about the Pocket 3 is that it is so lightweight and you can flip the camera or adjust the angle using the joystick. So you don't need any special equipment to do these top-down shots. And so I just stick this camera on top of my bigger tripods, usually the Ulanzi MT79, that light stand, and it is so easy and seamless to do my top-down product shots. Another feature that the Pocket 3 has that has made it so great for doing those product shots is product showcase. So when this mode is turned on, which I don't believe it is right now, but it'll focus on the object or thing that is closest to the lens. And so that is so nice for doing my product shots. I even do my thumbnails this way sometimes, so I love that feature. The only trick is that you do have to watch, how you're filming. I do find at times that my focus jumps around, so that's the only thing to be wary of whenever you're using this camera, or one of the things that you should be wary of. And the final way that I use the Pocket 3 is to do my low light shots, because as you may or may not know, the Pocket 3 is really great at low light. It is perhaps the best low light compact camera that I have seen, definitely the best one that I own. So, lately I haven't been doing a lot of low light shooting. I don't really do it for my tech channel unless I am testing that as a feature, but, and I haven't really traveled much either. So, but I will be using it soon for my upcoming trip to France. So I'll probably have some videos that I've filmed there. We'll wait and see. But if I am going traveling, then this is definitely coming with me to be my low light camera. The only thing is that you do have to understand that you have to understand its limits, because you can't shoot in complete darkness. You do need some ambient light. So I'm still kind of testing the boundaries of how dark I can get with this camera, but I can get significantly darker or shoot in significantly darker places than I could with my GoPro for sure, and even my iPhone. So those are the main ways that I'm using the Pocket 3 these days. I do want to wrap up and tell you about a few features that I am not using on this camera that I thought I would be using. The first is the built-in zoom. So there's like a 2x zoom capability on this camera. To me, it's not great. If I ever want to zoom, I don't even think about using this camera. I just pull out my iPhone. My phone does a much better job at zooming, so I don't use the zoom feature. Like I said earlier, I don't really use the wide angle lens. I don't really use the black mist filter. I find that those just distort the image a little too much. I like what comes straight out of the camera without putting filters on. And I also don't really use the tracking feature. I do think it's a really cool thing. I think it works decently well. It can be a little bit jumpy if you're moving around a little too much. But again, it's just the kinds of videos that I film. I don't find that feature to be particularly useful for how I like to film, but some of you guys might really like that feature. Comment down below about if you do use the tracking on this camera or not, because I am curious.